Well, what's going on, everybody? Your two favorite movie critics and overall just wild rascals are back here for Cinephellas.com, and we are going to be talking about our favorite movies and TV shows of this past year, 2021. We have a long list to get to. So without further ado, I'm Henry Hill, and that's my good mate over there.
I'm Logan Myers.
Well, hello, Logan. It's glad to be with you once again.
Top of the morning to you, mate.
Let's get right into it, shall we?
Let's get to this list. I got a lot to talk about. What a shitty year for a lot of us. Everything going on with the world, but we can depend on entertainment business for TV and movies to get away from reality. And that's what we did this year. And there was a lot of great stuff we're both watching, reviewing, talking about on our YouTube channel. Me and this guy are going to be diving into our list. And we're going to start off with the movies, our favorite movies of 2021. And there's a lot of those. But one, I'm going to start off with my favorite movie of the year, Spider-Man No Way Home.
Yeah, you can't have a 2021 list without talking about the biggest blockbuster of all time, Spider-Man No Way Home, breaking records through a pandemic. That's equally impressive. Just imagine how massive this would be if there wasn't, the COVID going around.
That's how excited I was. I'm like, I'll get fucking COVID. I'm not going to miss this movie. I mean, I did 2 years without getting it, and I went to the theater and I didn't get it. So it was well worth it. Great theater experience. My favorite theater experience. Only 2 this year. But it was just something else, something I always remember. And it was just a great movie. Our full review is up on the last podcast that we did, but we both loved it. Perfect movie.
Great cinematic experience. Definitely go check this out at theaters. You're not going to want to experience it any other way. It's meant to be seen up on the big screen. And it's really Tom Holland's ultimate Spider-Man movie so far, and really establishes him as this character, really shows his emotional range. He, has several losses through the film. So it really, really brings his story, full circle from this Homecoming trilogy that they did. So really well done. We could go on and on about it. Obviously, it brought back the other 2 Spider-Men, Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. And we saw a lot of villains from the first one. We saw the return of Willem Dafoe. And we got a hint of the multiverse that is coming. It's, it began that, and we're going to go right into Doctor Strange from this.
Oh, yeah. I'm very excited for the future, but it really paves the way as to what's coming and how dark they're going to go. But definitely a movie we recommend. So check it out if you've not seen it. It feels like the world has seen it, but maybe there's a few out there that are questioning it. Go see it. It's well worth the ticket price.
Absolutely. Another movie that we have to mention, a big, huge blockbuster, one that I really wanted to see in the theaters, but it just didn't work out that way. But thankfully it was on HBO Max. Another huge science fiction movie from our good mate, Denis Villeneuve. I'm talking about the Frank Herbert adaptation of Dune. What a huge, giant blockbuster. Just amazingly filmed, acted, loved everything about it. I can't wait to watch it again. It's just a movie that you have to see more than once. I hadn't seen the original before I watched the new one. And after watching the newer one, I went back and watched the original one. It just does a great job, bringing it obviously into modern times with all the special effects that are available, the giant score, everything about this movie I really enjoyed. It was just an epic, and we're gonna get to see 2 more in this trilogy, and I can't wait to see more.
Yeah, it's an epic space adventure. Before Star Wars, there was Dune. Definitely one of the best movies of the year. I thought it was going to be my number 1, and then I saw Spider-Man. So it's number 2. Dune was an excellent movie. Also watched it at home. I'm sure it was a million times better in the theater, but hey, it's life. Couldn't make it there. But really well done flick. A-list cast. Really great sci-fi adventure. Currently reading the book right now. So it's a movie you guys should definitely check out if you've not seen it, put out by Warner Brothers.
Absolutely. A great movie all around, and another great theatrical experience that I missed out on, which sucks. But I will be in the theater for part 2 of the Dune saga. Let's go back to earlier on in the year, and a movie that actually premiered on Netflix, one that we both reviewed and really enjoyed. Zack Snyder coming back to the zombie, his zombie franchise. Of course, he shot Dawn of the Dead, a reimagining of that, George Romero film. He came back for his own original story, and a story that's going to continue on in some more movies. And he has spin-offs of it and even a cartoon. I'm talking about Army of the Dead.
Yep, really surprising movie because after all the movies that Zack Snyder's been putting out recently, they've all been pretty shitty. But Army of the Dead was really great, really fun summer flick. We had a blast with it. Didn't take itself too seriously. A lot of comedy in it, and a lot of great gore and practical effects. And definitely one of the best flicks of the year. Currently streaming on Netflix. As we were talking about Tom Holland earlier, me and this guy reviewed this film called Cherry that was released on Apple TV Plus, and we both had a really good time with it. Tom Holland's definitely one of the younger favorite actors of mine. He's growing on me more and more with each role he does, and this movie's completely different. Went to some really dark places in the film. Directed by the Russo brothers, the Avengers. So it was cool seeing them work together again in a completely different role and atmosphere. And I think it flew under the radar. A lot of people didn't see Cherry, so I really loved it.
An Apple TV Plus exclusive. A lot of people didn't have Apple TV at the time. You know, they had Ted Lasso. This was early on in the year. I think a lot more people have came around. There's been a lot more Apple series and movies coming out to the streamer. But yeah, I had to see this, you know, ever since it was announced. Really awesome, really well made and crafted by the Russo brothers. The music to it, the way it was shot, and just seeing Tom Holland's performance as this, you know, former soldier who was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder. It deals with drug addiction, and just really well acted movie. And the way it was filmed, and it's split up into parts. It's based on this novel that was put out by this former soldier suffering with PTSD and going through drug addiction. So yeah, it was missed by a lot of people. So if you get a chance, go ahead and subscribe to Apple TV Plus. If they, you know, they probably offer a free trial if you haven't already had it before. I hope that they eventually release this on physical media, because it would be a movie that I'd pick up for sure. It's highly recommended by us. You know, it's depressing at times. It deals with some heavy issues, but it's a really well-made film.
It really is definitely one of the best of the year. Another film that I really enjoyed this year that maybe you guys haven't seen. Me and this guy absolutely loved it. Many Saints of Newark. Oh, yep. Soprano, young Tony Soprano, and you see how he came up to be the person that we know from The Sopranos. Really great ensemble, great music. The timepiece, you know, period back in the day, it was really well done. I love the directing. Another great movie of the year for sure.
Absolutely, yeah, we really liked it. It was split critically and audience-wise. You know, I guess some fans were hoping it would be exactly like the series. But, you know, we paid attention to what the story was going to be about and everything, and realized this was going to be a prequel and show the rise of Dickie Moltisanti, and obviously dealing with a young Tony. I didn't really have too many quips with it like a lot of people did. I thought it was really well done. I liked Joey Diaz as a character. He played Buddha in it. He really shined for me. He's a comedian that I like and listen to his podcast and stuff. So it was awesome seeing him in this world. He actually went out for the role of Big Pussy, and he gets mistaken for Big Pussy a lot, Vinny Pastor, in real life. So getting to see him in this was awesome. You get to see a younger version of Johnny Boy Soprano, John Bernthal, a young Livia played by Vera Farmiga, and then Corey Stoll as young Uncle Junior. All really well acted and really awesome to see what happened before The Sopranos happened, how Tony grew up. Seeing, we've heard about Dickie Moltisanti, Christopher's dad, on the show, but it was awesome to see what he was really like back in this time period. And, you know, back when gangsters, you know, dressed to the nines and had the flashy cars and, you know, had more respect. It's a lot different with the mafia, obviously, in modern times. But this was back in the heyday when they had a ton of respect on the street. And just going back, it was great, and seeing all the little Easter eggs to the original series. You know, we got to see the whole beehive hairdo shot through the beehive hairdo in the car that we heard about through the show. And I just had a great time with it. We're huge fans of the original series, so definitely check out Many Saints of Newark. Forget about it if you don't watch it, huh?
Other great films that came out this year, one that I was really surprised by, and I went in with super low expectations, that came out during the Halloween season that we reviewed for 31 days of horror. Yes, I know. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Halloween Kills. Michael Myers Returns. You don't know what that is?
Get out of there, Lonnie.
Yeah, I was really surprised about this movie. I really despised the 2018 version, but I think they fixed a lot of the problems. It was more fun. It was a bloodbath. Michael just going on a killing spree, bringing back some legacy characters. I had a fun time with the Halloween Kills.
It was overall brutal. It's Michael Myers on basically a slash fest throughout the film. His body count racks up throughout the film. We get some great kills, inventive kills. The beginning when he comes out of the house that's been burning, he comes, rise from the ashes, takes out all the firemen, all the cops, and starts his killing spree throughout. We don't see a lot of Laurie Strode in this. She's limited to the hospital. We're going to see more of her in the next one. But it was awesome seeing Anthony Michael Hall as Tommy Doyle. Wish we would have got Paul Rudd, but seeing Anthony Michael back on the screen, it was cool for me. And yeah, I enjoyed it. It was definitely an improvement on the first one, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they're going to wrap it up in Halloween Ends.
Definitely a film we both enjoyed. If you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's currently streaming on Peacock.
Another horror film that came out in 2021 that we both enjoyed, from John Krasinski. He's back to direct his wife, Emily Blunt, this time in A Quiet Place 2. They also brought in old Cillian Murphy from Peaky Blinders, obviously, is who he's most known for, playing Tommy Shelby in that. But continuing the story from the first one, we get a nice flashback in the beginning, showing the relationship between Cillian Murphy and the family, showing how he's related and everything. Seeing them in this world and how they have to navigate with, all these aliens taking over the world. They have to be quiet. Obviously, they have to adapt to their surroundings. So a nice continuation of the story. And the kids both did a great job in this. And then Emily Blunt, of course, she's fantastic. And Cillian Murphy really brought a lot to the role too, as well. So a very, very worthy follow-up to A Quiet Place 2. And I saw this in theaters, and it was a really fun theatrical experience.
Love the movie. That was my other movie I saw in the theater this year back in March. 4 people in the theater and had a great time with it. Another movie I went in with low expectations, the sequel, what can they do with it? But it was really well done. So another standout performance and great directing and story with Quiet Place 2. Okay.
We recently reviewed Don't Look Up from Adam McKay. We both had a really excellent time with the movie. It got a lot of negative 50% negative press, but we both really enjoyed it and had a great time with it. Candyman, from Nia DaCosta from Jordan Peele, really well-made film, really excellent continuation of the Candyman story back from the 90s. The Fear Street trilogy on Netflix. We both had a really good time with it, seeing it in the different eras back in the 1800s, and then in the 70s, and then in the 90s. They did a really good job making that for Netflix, and hopefully see more out of the Fear Street series. Nobody, kind of a John Wick style film with Bob Odenkirk as this, guy that's been taking a lot of shit at work his whole life. And then he finally has enough and snaps and beats people's asses and plays this old, tough guy, kind of a John Wick style. So that was cool seeing Bob Odenkirk, get in shape and learn to fight for that. Also cool to see Christopher Lloyd. Nomadland, Frances McDormand. We both really like that film from Chloe Zhao. The cinematography, excellent. Just a look at somebody who got shit canned at work and kind of lost everything and went out to go be a nomad, basically. So Nomadland, we both saw that on Hulu. The Mitchells vs. the Machines, great little animated film for Netflix. Definitely recommend that. It's one of the best of the year, no doubt. Godzilla vs. Kong, HBO Max. We both enjoyed that. Fun movie. Probably my favorite in that trilogy. Just seeing the two Titans clash finally was awesome to see. Suicide Squad from James Gunn. A big improvement over the first one. The first film from David Ayer, just totally different style, using James Gunn kind of, the way he does it, the Troma films, seeing all that and bringing his humor to it really helped out the movie a lot. Mortal Kombat, HBO Max. We both enjoyed that. The acting was a little bad for me in parts, but you're not there for the acting for Mortal Kombat. You're there for the Mortal Kombat, right? So you definitely see some awesome sequences, especially the Sub-Zero stuff was really awesome. I liked how they did the effects for when he freezes and seeing him and Scorpion up on screen and the rest of them. can't wait to see more from the Mortal Kombat series. It was pretty well done. We both watched The Green Knight and had a great time with it. An A24 film. Dev Patel playing this knight, obviously back in medieval times. Not a lot of action in it or swordplay. It's a character study, but really awesomely filmed. The creatures in it, this trippy part with these giants. We both enjoyed that a lot. Definitely check out The Green Knight. I want to buy that one on 4K for sure. That's
Me too.
one that I'd like to revisit.
It's a mind trip.
The
other ones I had on my list was Cruella. Emma Stone playing the infamous villain Cruella de Vil. The film was released on Disney Plus. Me and my guy over here reviewed it, had a great time with it. Great soundtrack, great period piece back in the day. A lot of great fashion. I was surprised how much I loved it. That was another film that we really enjoyed. And the other film that I had on my list of James Wan's *Malignant*. We just gave this digital code away. We both had a great time with it. The third act, super bonkers. It goes places I'd never imagined, and really well done horror flick. And that's what I have for my best movies of 2021.
Yes, sir. And a couple honorable mentions I'll throw in there. Don't Breathe 2, The Return of the Blind Man. The Harder They Fall. It's a Western with Jonathan Majors on Netflix. Definitely one you guys should check out. It's a nice little twist on that whole Western genre. Judas and the Black Messiah on HBO Max. Daniel Kaluuya. And really well done about the Black Panthers. Back in the day, it felt kind of like a Scorsese film, really, the way they was shot and everything. Definitely check Judas and the Black Messiah out. I had a good time with King Richard, Will Smith as the father of Serena and Venus Williams, seeing his story and how he shaped those girls into what they became. Last Night in Soho from Edgar Wright, definitely a unique film, not what I was expecting, but I had a overall pretty good time with it. It's definitely worth watching at least once. Shang-Chi, The Legend of the Ten Rings from Marvel, The Tomorrow War on Amazon Prime with Chris Pratt. It was pretty well done and did well enough to get a sequel, so we're going to see more from that. And then finally, No Time to Die, the final Daniel Craig Bond film to end his story. So that wraps up our best and favorite movies of 2021.
All right, next up, we're going to be talking about our favorite TV shows of 2021. And I have a lot more on my list than movies. I thought it was a better year for TV, original programming, and many of the streaming services. My top four, I'm going to list off real quick. Number one for me, being very surprised by Dexter New Blood on Showtime. I know we're going to be wrapping up the season here, but each week it gets better and better, leaving you on a cliffhanger. Not sure what's going to happen next. If Dexter's going to get out of the situation, his son. Just really well done. Revived this from a very terrible ending to the original series. And I think the showrunners, Michael C. Hall, returning in the role as Dexter, really great job. And it's my favorite show of the year thus far. And we're coming up to a few more days.
Yep. A few more episodes to go, so we'll see if we're gonna get any more Dexter, if they're really gonna stick to this and wrap it up. It's been doing well for Showtime, so we'll have to find out after it's aired. I will say my favorite TV show of 2021 was probably Midnight Mass from Mike Flanagan on Netflix. Just really awesomely done. I loved how it was filmed. I love the acting, especially Hamish Linklater as the priest in that show. Love the atmosphere of that island. Seeing all of Mike Flanagan's cast come back for this and play just different roles than we've seen them before. I had a great time with it. Very original. You get a lot of Bible mythology, talking about that and dealing with a lot of things from that. It was cool to see Zach Gilford back from Friday Night Lights, see him in something again. We haven't really seen him in a while. He had a really excellent performance in this. I love the whole aspect and how they treated the monster in this. They didn't reveal it right away of what it was. It slowly unfolded the story as the 7 chapters went on. But yeah, I highly recommend watching Midnight Mass on Netflix. It's one that you need to watch for sure.
Oh, Uncle Mike Flanagan does no wrong. One of the best directors in the horror genre today, and keeps putting out original content. And I love that guy. Can't wait to see what he brings us in the future. Another number 2 favorite show of the year, my favorite Marvel show on Disney Plus, WandaVision. Had a really great time with it. Love the whole sitcom feel to it. diving in the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, really having to do with Vision and Wanda and where that takes them into a multiverse. But really well done show. My favorite of the year for sure.
One of mine too, absolutely. The most original Disney Plus Marvel series for sure. I loved how they brought the different sitcom from the different decades and how they put that up on the screen and tied it into Wanda's story, seeing it through her mind. And then obviously the story unfolding with her and Vision, and it leading to the multiverse and going in right into Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness and how it ties in with that. Really unique show, and one that I really enjoyed, even more so than the other Marvel shows that we saw this year. So definitely high up on my list too. You can't talk about TV in 2021 without mentioning the Juggernaut on Netflix. That's right, talking about Squid Game. Green light, red light.
Yeah, man, that show was fucked up. It was like global phenomenon. Everybody was talking about this. Me and this guy ended up binging it. Both loved it, like everybody else in the world. It's very brutal, to say the least. If you guys, without spoiling too much, if you guys haven't seen it, check it out. It's on Netflix. Everybody's talking about it. Really original show. We got more coming, season 2 and possibly season 3. But definitely, I can see what all the hype was about. It's definitely one of the best shows of the year.
Without a doubt, my friend, I enjoyed it immensely. I can't wait to see more from it. Hopefully they do it justice, and hopefully they don't just try to cash in on it. Hopefully they take their time with the story, and we get to see more. It was really well done. Some more shows that we'll mention. Another original one that we saw this year from old Seth Rogen. I'm talking about Invincible, the animated series on Amazon Prime. I had a great time with that. Nice little spin on the superhero genre. All original characters, based on a comic book. I never really read anything from the series before, so I really enjoyed the show, all these new characters and following it, and it did really well. So we're going to get another season, which is great news. I had an awesome time with it. Love the animation style, love the acting. Obviously they didn't censor it at all. A lot of cussing and brutal action. Definitely an awesome superhero show.
Yeah, and with you saying that, we had The Boys too, which go hand in hand. R-rated superheroes, and Invincible's the animated version, with The Boys, the real life version of that, and that was a good season as well. Those are both on my list. One of my favorite shows of the year, I interviewed the director, Corinne Hardy. I'm talking about Gangs of London. Nobody's talking about the show. It's one of my favorites. So gory, such a crime-filled, England with London, especially all these different gangs and how dark they go. I couldn't believe how gory the show was. It's on AMC, and had the chance to talk to the director about it. Really great dude. Really excited for season 2. They just dropped the teaser for it, so I'm on board for season 2. First season blew me away. Loved it.
Towards the top of my list for 2021 for shows, I am going to mention Kate Winslet in The Mayor of Easttown. Just an excellent series. She did a great job. I predict that she's going to win some Golden Globes for her performance, take home some gold for it. She did an excellent job as this detective with a lot of personal problems, a lot of family problems. It doesn't try to clean up anybody. Everybody in town has their issues. She has to solve this murder, dealing with this teenage girl. There's a lot of twists and turns along the way. We get to see Evan Peters in a role kind of different than what he's done before, as kind of this younger detective that she has to take under her wing. They did a really good job with this series. It's definitely worth checking out. One of my favorites of the year on HBO Max, The Mayor of Easttown.
And going off that, some shows that I've been checking out recently that just debuted, I'm having a great time with, from Taylor Sheridan, Mayor of Kingstown. And I'm talking about 1883, the prequel to Yellowstone, and going alongside Yellowstone season 4 this year as well. Been a great year for Taylor Sheridan. All 3 fantastic shows. Check them out if you haven't. If you guys out there are into westerns and things like that, or Taylor Sheridan, filmography, definitely check these shows out. They're really fantastic.
Another HBO Max show that I enjoyed. You didn't like it as much. The White Lotus. Just a big satire on rich people and how, cruel and just they're oblivious to what's going on outside of their own world. There's a bunch of crazy stuff that happens in this show. Just insane. Armand, the hotel kind of concierge, he was the breakout performance for this for me. He's just this wild guy. He's gay, and he has a lot of relations with his staff, does a lot of coke, angers people. It's a unique show. It's from Mike White, who's done some other shows for HBO Max. He has this style that if you haven't seen before, it'll throw you off, which is what it did to you completely. But I'd recommend White Lotus. You not so much. Other shows that are definitely worth mentioning: Loki, another Marvel Disney Plus show, which we both enjoyed a lot. Very unique too. I like that. Oh, even better than another Marvel show, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But they didn't make a bad show for these Marvel shows. Even Hawkeye, we enjoyed all those Marvel shows that they produced. Not one of them was terrible by any stretch of the imagination, and moved everything forward and the stories. So definitely check out all those. Cobra Kai, just an excellent series. Awesome going back and seeing this nostalgia trip from the original Karate Kid movies. Season 4 is about to drop on Netflix. We saw season 3 this year. Really well done. I can't say enough about it. Ted Lasso on Apple TV Plus. It's an excellent show. It's definitely Apple TV Plus's flagship show. Really well done, really well written, excellently acted. The characters are all likable, the stories. And in season 2, they really pushed forward the stories and really put it to the next level. Added some drama this year. There's a Christmas episode. There's just a lot of great moments in a show that everybody, I think, if you give it a couple episodes, you'll be hooked and you'll want to watch it all. It's one of those feel good shows. So definitely check out Ted Lasso. It's worth all the praise it gets. Chucky, we got a show on Chucky from Don Mancini, the original creator of this show. We both had an excellent time with it. It's this campy look. It brings back Chucky, puts him on TV. We were kind of skeptical at first. We didn't know, if you put Chucky on TV, is it going to be a story that can go over 10 episodes? It did that, and then some. Really brutal, gory. It was awesome to see the characters from the whole series come back. We've got a look at young Charles Lee Ray, played by his own daughter, Fiona Dorff. Then we got to see, Fiona come over from the Cult of Chucky. And you even got to see, obviously, the Bride of Chucky. Yeah, Fiona Dorff. And then you got to see Jennifer Tilly come back as the Bride of Chucky. So very awesome series. We had a great time with it. That's on USA Sci-Fi, and I believe it's Peacock. It's on Peacock as well, so you can stream all the episodes now. Yellowstone, we already mentioned. Mayor of Kingstown was on my list. And then there were some Disney shows that we also enjoyed. Mighty Ducks, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. Let's see what else. Yep, those are some. I'll just go ahead and finish out my list. You had its 3rd season on Netflix. The whole serial killer. It's kind of like a Dexter type show on Netflix. It has 3 seasons. Definitely worth checking out. It's really well done. I will add Bo Burnham's Inside to my list. Really awesome documentary that Bo Burnham made. It started out as like a comedy special filmed over the pandemic. It's just him locked in a room, and you see him slowly come apart. And he has all these great original songs that he made throughout his time being locked in this room. You just see him slowly kind of go crazy throughout the pandemic, throughout the end of the series. And it's got a soundtrack that's been really popular. And he has some very clever and funny songs on it. Hacks on HBO Max. It's a Gene Smart comedy, really well done. Dave on FXX with Dave Bird, Lil Dicky, very funny. One of my favorite new comedies. It's in the style of, kind of, It's Always Sunny. It feels like that. It feels like it's in that world. The writing's really good though. It's clever. It's not just episode of the week. He has a message with each episode. It's Always Sunny was back for another season. It was really good this year. You definitely need to check it out. You'll love it, especially the episode at the roller rink. Kind of catches up with the gang where they were back in the 90s and kind of what made Dee, how Dee ended up the way she was, and how these guys all ended up at Petty's Pub. Really cool season. There are only 8 episodes, and they release 2 episodes at a time, so it really flew by. but it was a really solid season. Season 15, those guys just keep making them. And I hope they always do. Made for Love on HBO Max. Pretty cool show. Original series is going to be coming back for another season starring Christina Milioti. Couple Netflix documentaries that I enjoyed. Crime Scene, The Vanishing at the Cecil Hotel. Really well done and spooky. And The Night Stalker, The Hunt for a Serial Killer. So if you like crime, murder, those two documentaries are really well done on Netflix.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw both. Richard Ramirez, he was a creepy dude.
Yeah.
The Night Stalker, LA in the 80s. Basically cover most of the TV shows that I watched. The only few that I had left on my list, both on Netflix. Outer Banks, 2 seasons are up on that. I was surprised. At first, I didn't really care for it. And then more they got into the story, I really fell in love with it. It's modern day Goonies, takes place in the Outer Banks of North Carolina. Teenagers and like finding gold. But really well done, great soundtrack, and I'm looking forward to the season 3 coming out soon, next year, I think. And then my last show that we're watching season 2 and reviewing it right here on our YouTube channel, The Witcher with Henry Cavill, returning this month. It's been really good. I'm halfway through season 2, hoping to binge it here in the next few days. We'll be back to review it.
Yeah, we will wrap it up. We will cover the whole season. Really enjoyed the first episode. I've watched the first 3 or 4, I believe. And it just keeps getting better from episode to episode. Definitely a show everybody should check out, The Witcher. And I even want to play the games now. So yeah, I'm there with you. Really, really well done. So yeah, we just wrapped up a whole year there, mate. We probably left some out. There are obviously a lot of movies that we didn't get a chance to see yet. Going back and doing research for this, I looked on other people's best of lists, and there are a ton of movies that we just didn't get an opportunity to see yet. And then we'll go back and see. And so I'm sure we left out some that should have been on our list, but there's a ton of great stuff. Thankfully, in 2021, the pandemic raged on. We were stuck at home for a lot of it, but thankfully we had a lot of things to catch up on and keep us entertained.
Great year for entertainment. We had a great time sharing our favorite movies and TV shows of 2021, but we're interested in hearing your guys' thoughts. What's your favorite shows or movies that maybe we didn't talk about? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit subscribe. Also, me and this guy will be back to talk about our favorite movies or things we're looking forward to in 2022. There's a lot of big name movies like The Batman coming out and a lot of great TV shows. So we're going to have a video up here shortly talking about some upcoming movies and TV shows hitting in 2022.
So in 2022, we're going to have a lot of big movies and shows coming out for the Cinephellas universe here. We're going to have a great time covering it, more podcasts, fellas giveaways, videos from the both of us, as well as the other fellas. We can't wait to come back and share along with everything that we're going to watch. We have a great time doing this. We thank everybody for following along with us in 2021. It was a great year for us. We put out more videos than ever. We adopted this Zoom format, and at first we had to work through some issues, get used to going back and forth, through the internet with a little lag time and that, but we've got it down for the most part now. So yeah, I can't wait to do more of these with you, my friend. Can't wait to be back and bring Cinephellas into another year, 2022.
Can we do like 1,000 videos next year? Let's try it, Spol.
We can try. Towards the end of the year, we'll have a complete mental breakdown the last 2 months like this year. But yeah, we can do it. After October, we pretty much burn out. But we'll do our best getting as many videos out to you guys. So we really have fun doing this, and we thank you guys for watching.
So thanks to everybody out there watching us, hanging with us this entire year. It's been a great one. But 2022 is going to be even bigger. Hopefully all of you out there have a safe and enjoyable holiday, and we'll see you next year.
Until the next Cinephellas year-long TV and movie wrap-up, I've been Henry Hill. That's my good mate, Logan Myers. Cheers, 2021.
Cheers.